Hey, in this video, I'd like to share some practical ways to use Moodle Feedback Activity. Moodle Feedback Activity is one of the tools that I often use in my blended and online courses. What is it? Let's learn a few things about feedback activity. So it's usually used for collecting responses from participants. When I say responses, it's text responses. You can't really collect audio or video or image responses from participants. So the input will be text. And student responses can be submitted anonymously and multiple times. And responses can also be shown to all students after they have submitted responses. There are some types of questions you can use to get response from students. These are longer and shorter answer, multiple choice, and numeric questions. So this is something that you need to know about feedback tool. Now let me share how I usually use it in my online and blended learning courses. One of the ways I use feedback activity is to explain students the Muddy's points they have in their mind. So what's Muddy's point? Muddy's point is formative assessment activity in which teacher asks students at the end of the class about their misconceptions or confusions that exist in their mind about that particular class or about particular unit. So I usually use it at the end of teaching week in my blended and in my online courses. When I'm about to finish the week, I usually create activity and I ask my students, what was your Muddy's point in this week's lecture readings? I can show you an example. So this is how I usually write up the questions. And students text here. They submit their responses. And after they submit their responses, I usually take some time to collect the questions and to read and to prepare my answer. I usually give the answer in the face-to-face sessions if it's blended learning course. But if it's entirely online course, I usually record a podcast and audio file and I post it into the classroom. So that's how I usually deal with the results of Muddy's point activity. So you can try feedback tool to create your own Muddy's point activity. That's the one way. Second way, I use feedback activity to gather questions for real-time sessions in my online and blended learning courses. For example, if I have a real-time session with my students on Zoom, on Saturday, I usually create a feedback activity 2-3 days before to get questions from students for real-time sessions. So it's a good idea always to gather questions in advance so that you can give students a very quality answer during your limited face-to-face session. So here is an example. So that's how I usually post with titles like this, and they can type any questions that they would like to ask me, they would like me to answer during the face-to-face session. So that's how I use feedback activity of Moodle, and I'm pretty sure you can use Moodle feedback activity in more engaging and interesting ways that really depends on your pedagogical knowledge. So yeah, wish you good luck. Bye.